When doctor-patient relationship is broken, one group set an option to abandon a patient. Oh no. According to Dr. Oath and Indonesia Medical Ethics Code IMEC, a doctor's primary obligation is to the patient, never ever to abandon a patient, okay? It is unrealistic to expect that patient will always agree with us. IMEC Article 16. A doctor has an obligation to maintain his own health because an exhausted and or a stressful doctor can lead to see patients as a difficult patient. It is a doctor ethical responsibility to repair the broken relationship whether the patient caused the initial tension. The reason is a duty to treat should be understood as including a duty to repair the relationship. Doctor responds to the patient emotional distress with empathic language. One of the group said sympathy. Oh no. Empathy means understand. Sympathy means love. I'm falling in love with you. You have to learn how to be with patient with empathy, not sympathy. Mundanely, down to earth. Do something small, nothing heroic. Just hanging in there, immersing yourself. Just by hanging in with this impossible primary care job taking care of nanny, crazy, self-centered group of people through all of the horror, through all of the fun, death, open wound, diarrhea, and everything in between, immersing myself, even unwillingly. It works its magic on me. Beneficence. Physicians are at liberty to refuse patient requests that in their clinical judgment will produce no benefit for the patients. The case is so-called a futile outpatient treatment when continuing to recommend treatment to the patient who ignores medical advice is going nowhere. But before making this determination, it is a doctor's duty to explore reasons for the patient's non-compliance and exhaust all means for overcoming it. Autonomy. The doctor should consider whether the patient understands the condition, the recommended therapy, and the consequences of refusing or failing to adhere to the treatment. This is the process of determining a patient's competency to make healthcare decisions. Patient preference and quality of life. The doctor should investigate the competent patient reasons for refusal or non-compliance, explain the available options, and become familiar with the patient's ultimate goals for his medical care. It is useful to ask patient to describe his general terms, his perception of his current medical situation, his hopes, which offer insights into his values and desires. The doctor should conclude the conversation by reinforcing his commitment to care for regardless of the decision he makes. Deontology, a duty to treat. Simply put, a doctor has a duty to treat, even when the patient is responsible for the condition that troubles him. The doctor has the opportunity to care for the patient without personal bias or moral judgment cloud his compassion for the suffering human being in front of him. Maintaining a therapeutic doctor-patient relationship has an even greater benefit than some other common medical intervention. In order to get each person feel seen and each senses the other feeling seen. So it is like a click moment when we have sometimes with people, okay? To shift the dialogue from I and you to we, from self and other to us. If we start to use the word we in a conversation, like a surgeon, the old surgeon with patriarchal would say, okay, I'm gonna do surgery on you. The second generation says, okay, I gave you all the information And now it's your decision to choose. So the patient has a second opinion. Hopefully, the modern generation would say, okay, how can we decide about doing this? It is not just the we word help to this particular conversation. The we word affirmed the relationship that is at the root of the interaction because it is not about I and you, but we in this together. Very important. Termination of doctor-patient relationship. Contextual feature. In the past, I may get angry at him, but suddenly I understood the issue isn't me or him, but us. The unseen historical forces are shaping him. My job is then to hold this week, the connection with him for both of us. That is my job as a doctor to bring someone on the edge who is called sick into healing, to see a foreign as a native. This is healing. This process, what a healing process is. This is what I signed up for years ago. This is what doctor could do. If after all these possibilities have been closely examined and dealt with, doctor determines that the patient's behavior are contrary to the mutually determined treatment goals which require mutually relationship, the doctor is ethically permitted to inform the patient that doctor is unable to help the patient and is withdrawing from the case. Grounds for termination. Conflict of interest. Patient's non-compliance. The relationship is not therapeutic and not in the patient's best interest. Utilitarianism. To maximize utility in some situations, family members, maybe partner, supporter, will also help to remind patient of how current choices are inconsistent with therapeutic goal and support with smoking. In addition, the doctor should be sensitive to external forces or pressures that may be influencing the patient and interfering with his therapeutic goal. Recommended process. Policies encourage doctors to give patient advance notice of their plan to terminate the relationship. Agree to provide continued care for a reasonable time period, often up to 30 days, or until a new doctor is found. Aid the patient in locating a new doctor and transfer the medical record to his new physician.